going to honour the timing. Really warm welcome. The purpose of tonight is we are looking at the question, how do we cope with stressful events? So whether that's a one-off stressful event or a series of stressful events, so a bit like writing exams. I went to the dentist yesterday and I had the joy of being able to put some of these things into practice myself, and I can confirm that they worked. For those who don't know me, my name is Perry May Britton. I am down in Sussex. I'm married to Mike, and I have one son who's 13. And I began retraining in massage therapy a few years ago. And through doing the massage therapy, I came across all the stuff about somatic work. And it kind of opened a big wide door for me. And I set up my practice almost 2 years ago. And I know some of you have done my embodied course, which is my sort of flagship course. There will be time for questions, but I wonder if, just because there's quite a few of us on here, if you don't mind just muting yourself. But if I say something that's really unclear, please wave, shout, interrupt me, because we're still small enough for that as well. Please feel free to just leave if you need to at any point. If you can, leave your face up. It's really nice for me. But I'll start with a little bit more introduction about what somatic coaching is. It's actually very simple. Soma is the Latin word for body. And so really anything to do with your body is somatic. It's very fashionable. Lots of people add somatic to the front of things they do. You can do somatic Pilates, somatic exercise. I mean, lifting your cup to your mouth would be somatic. So it's quite broad in its real meaning. And in my context of somatic coaching, what I do is I listen to what's called the story under the story. So what's going on in your body as you live through your life. So, you know, when you walk into an exam, your chest might be already tight, your shoulders might be up, your brain might already be foggy. So what I look at is not the event that's actually happening, but I look at what's happening in your body. Somatic coaching is great for loads of things. It helps you connect your mind and your body, because we aren't just a mind. In fact, we are whole self. We are our body and our head. It forms us into who we are. It can really help with stress and anxiety. So if you are struggling with general levels of stress and anxiety, it's really helpful. Build self-awareness. Once your body is calm, you get a clear mind, so it can improve decision-making, exam performance, athletic performance. And of course, when you are calm, your relationships benefit as well. So it's good for overall well-being. So there we go, story under the story. So let's just do a little happiness check-in. Okay, before we start, I want you to just maybe shut your eyes, think about your day. This is going to be a practical session, but nothing's compulsory. I want you to just think for a moment, how are you feeling now? You know, are you feeling a little bit blue? It's been a tough day, a bit meh. Maybe you're feeling okay. You know, you're home, you had a nice journey home, whatever the story is. Maybe you're feeling good, you're kind of feeling energized, ready to learn, or perhaps you're just feeling amazing. But wherever you are on that spectrum in your sort of emotion, one of the things, the first little somatic thing I'm going to tell you is that if you hum or sing a song, you will move up the scale of happiness and feeling well in yourself. So we are going to hum the national anthem, just one verse, and just try, wherever you are on the spectrum, to just move up. So if you've got a mouthful, maybe chew it up quickly. If you can keep yourself on mute, but if you want to, we could all have a little hum together, because it's quite fun if you do it together. And we're just going to do a quick hums. Just check in. You decided where you were on the scale, and now we're going to hum. Okay, join me. You can probably stop there because it's funny and silly, makes you laugh. But if you were walking home or on the tube or cooking supper and you were feeling a little bit anxious, you were struggling with your day, humming along to a little tune will calm yourself down. You are activating, you're stimulating your vagus nerve, the piece of your nervous system that calms you down. So there's your first little somatic exercise. So easy. You can do that humming towards the dentist, towards your exam, your difficult meeting, and you will feel good. But really, I want to talk about if you're going to if you're in an exam season or a busy season at work, I'm going to talk about the basics for a stressful season, which are here. I won't talk about them very much. You probably all know them anyway. Then I'm going to talk about what you should do before the stressful event, what you should do during the stressful event, and then what you should do afterwards. Because with somatic work, what you're trying to do is make your body your friend. So your body is your friend, and your body is going to get you through this stressful activity, not just your mind. So when your body feels well, your mind is clearer. So just the basics, if you or someone you live with is writing exams, or you've got a particularly busy season at work, first thing to remember is your body is your friend. You mustn't sort of ignore your body because you're trying to cram your brain with all the information. If you pay attention to your brain will work better. Obviously, eating healthily, limiting sugar, alcohol, ultra-processed foods, all of that, what you put in your body impacts how well you feel. That's obvious, you know that. Holly might say we need to do more than this, but I would say we need to do a minimum of 20 minutes of movement every day to get your body moving. So that can be walking, running, swimming, cycling, jogging on the spot, whatever it is you like doing. I get up at dawn most mornings and dance. Not quite every morning, didn't do it today. And actually not quite at dawn either at the moment. But any movement that will help your body get rid of stress that it can hold, wherever you hold your stress, and it will help your blood flow and all of those things so that you can be the best you could be. And then I would also say, as a basic underlying principle for stressful season, try and create for yourself a fixed sleep routine. And I would say your sleep routine would start with your morning routine. So try and wake up at the same time every day, even on the weekends, if you are really trying to get a good rhythm with your body. And then maybe think about a sleep routine at night. So coming off screens, 60 minutes before bed, do something calming, play games, listen to the radio, music, have a nice bath, do some stretching, that sort of thing. So those are sort of very basic body-based things that will make you be in good shape for a difficult season. But now we're going to what do you do when you have a really difficult thing that you're going to do? So let's say a difficult discussion, maybe with a family member or with a work colleague, or a tricky business meeting, perhaps, like I said, the dentist, an exam. These would all work for that. Any questions so far? Shout them out because I actually can't see you all. I'll just crack on then. So let's say you are going to write an exam. Okay, you've woken up in the morning. You may already be feeling like your shoulders are a bit tight. Maybe you had broken sleep. Maybe your jaw is quite clenched. So your body holds the tension. You maybe didn't go to bed as early as you wanted to because you were just cramming in those last few things. But you're on the way to the exam, I would suggest that you listen to music that makes you feel good. So you use your senses to tell your brain that you are okay. So it might be a good idea to have a playlist that you use on the tube, in the car, on your headphones, whatever it is, to just build you up, make you feel good. And then if you are standing outside the exam or maybe the hospital waiting room and you're feeling really nervous, one of the things you can do is literally shake, because your brain releases a lot of adrenaline, which can make you feel a bit jumpy and edgy before an exam or a stressful event. So you could, maybe stand outside the exam room and shake your legs as well. But I'm going to show you 3 little things you can do that you may not want to do in front of your friends and colleagues. If it's a work thing, you could maybe do this in the bathroom by yourself, or lock yourself in the stationery cupboard and try these out. We're going to do things called hops, but they're not really hops. They're more like bouncers. So if you watch sportsmen, they often do this before a race. And one of the reasons they do it is to regulate their nervous system, balance their hormones so that they have the right amount to be fully active when they do their race or their run. So let's do them quickly. If you want to, stand up, sort of feet roughly hip distance apart. And what we're going to do is we're going to just bounce on our feet. So just lift your heels. So you're just bouncing up like that. And just get into a little rocking rhythm. And when you're ready, you can lift your shoulders. So like that, so lift your shoulders. You're getting a bit more movement as you come up, you lift your shoulders. And then as you come up, breathe in. As you go down, breathe out. So, and you can slowly bring your arms. You can be more proactive with your arms if you want to. So, and you would want to do that for a minute, 2 minutes, however long feels good. The lovely thing with somatic work is there's really no right or wrong. You go with whatever your body feels. So what you're doing is you are getting the blood flow and the oxygen to your bigger muscles. You're releasing any excess adrenaline that you may have, because you don't want too much when you go into the exam. And it should make you feel a little bit awake, a little bit alert, kind of a little bit more focused in your mind. So that's the sort of thing you could do beforehand. But you don't have to do the hops. You could jog on the spot, you could shake. Just do a little bit of movement before you go into the exam, so that your body isn't just standing outside getting more and more stressed. Your shoulders would rise, your breath might come up in your chest, and you get that sort of tight feeling here. But it also, lots of people get their tummies are really churning before an exam, and this would just move your blood away from your internal organs to your bigger ones and just prevent some of those sort of feelings of anxiety. Because if you have too much adrenaline in your body, you can feel really sick and make you feel nauseous. So that's the sort of thing you would do before an event. I will keep going. So we've only got 15 more minutes, and then I'll be open for questions. So in the event, so now you've gone in, you've sat down, the papers are on the table, or you've gone in, you're sitting opposite the doctor, or you've gone in and you're sitting opposite your boss, and you know you're going to have a difficult conversation. What you really need to do is try to keep your mind and your body connected, because that will be what will help you think clearly. You want to keep the oxygen going to your brain. So if you sit down and you lift your shoulders, or even if you've been sitting on your phone outside waiting and your head's forward, those physical positions actually put pressure on the nerve flow and the blood flow to your brain, and there'll be more tension on your neck, and you will feel more foggy brained. You will find it harder to think of the great answer to the difficult questions. So you want to keep the oxygen flowing to your brain. and also your nerves to be sharp and sparky when you go in. So you want to learn how to calm any rising panic and try to keep perspective, because usually our perception of the event is more frightening than the event itself, quite often, not always. And, you know, with exams, when we go into exams, they are important, but usually our life doesn't actually depend on them. We just think that it does at the time. So I'm going to give you 4 somatic practices that you can do in the exam or in the moment of stress, okay? So the first one is the gold standard for calming your nervous system. I call it the psychological sigh. Some people call it the physiological sigh. I'm going to show you a slow way to do it, and you can do it. And then I'll show you a quicker way of doing it. It's the quickest way to break the cycle of stress in your body and your mind. So what you do, if you can do it through your nose perfectly, that's the best way. So you go in, breathe in, and then another little top up, and then breathe out. So let's do that together. So ideally in through your nose and out through your mouth. So breathe in, fill your lungs, and then another little in breath, and then breathe out. And you may even just doing that already feel, oh, I feel better. Because with any breath work, if your out breath is longer than your in breath, you will be calming your nervous system down. So now if you're sitting in a meeting, you can't really go, can you? Because you look a bit silly. But you can kind of shorten it. So you can do it quite quickly. So you can be in the middle of a conversation. The conversation isn't going how you want it to go, or you've looked at the exam paper and it isn't the questions you wanted. And before you let the panic rise, you go, well, and then you can answer the question. You can do it quite quickly and it will still have the same effect. You might want to do it 2 or 3 times. So should we practice a quick one? Imagine you're on the phone to your electricity supply company and they've put you on hold for the 47th time. You can do it in lots of different circumstances. So that would be your gold standard speed slowing of your nervous system. You can do that before, during, after the exam. It's a really easy, quick way of calming yourself down. The second thing you can do is an ear massage. And those of you who have done my embodied course know that this is one of my favorite ways of calming myself down. And I do it to my son to help him calm down when he won't go to sleep. So there's no right or wrong way of doing this. And you may find that when you're stressed, you just do this anyway. You just naturally just rub the edge of your ear. So I'm going to just show you on one side a way of doing it, but you can do it whatever works for you. And if you don't like any of these, you don't do them. But again, you're sitting in the waiting room of the doctor's surgery, or you are in the middle of a meeting on Zoom or whatever it is, and it's not going so well. So you might take your thumb and your forefinger and just rub around the lobe of your ear. Should feel really nice and relaxing. There's lots of little pressure points in your ear, and if you move the skin around your ear, you are again activating your parasympathetic nervous system, the bit that's like a parachute that slows you down. So you can also just move the skin around your ear. And again, you can do this quite subtly. So you could be sitting looking at the exam paper or sitting at the table in the meeting and just move the skin around your ear. There's also like a secret little button in your ear that's a very quick thing that calms you down. If you pop, not the bit where you listen through, but above there, there's like a little skin flap. If you put your finger in there and rotate round, but just go really gently, it should feel nice. And then you can rotate round the other way. If you're in an exam, in a meeting, you probably don't want to do this, but if you were in an exam and you don't care what anyone thinks, you can do both sides at the same time and it feels really nice, or like that. So that's exercise number 2. So you're in the exam, psychological sigh, a little bit of an ear rub. You can do a little body check-in. Are you feeling calmer than you were at the beginning? And then, depending on how your meeting is going, and this is a great rule of thumb just for general office work, you can give yourself the 20-20 rule, 20-20-20 rule to live by. Essentially, when you stretch your eyes, so when you look at the distance, look out the window, look to the distance, you are telling your body, your brain, that you're safe. And so you should get that sort of sunset feeling, or a little bit of it. So if you apply the 20-20 rule, so every 20 minutes, look as far as you can. So if there's a window in the room that you're in, look out the window to the furthest distance that you can see for 20 seconds. And I had a day where I set my timer to do it every 20 minutes, and the 20 minutes does come around very quickly, and 20 seconds feels eternal when you're in the middle of something. But again, this is the sort of thing you could do in a meeting, you could do in a stressful situation, you could just do a psychological sigh and just look out the window. And you'll find in stressful situations, difficult conversations, people don't actually criticize you for taking time to answer. And you'll find that you'll find a clearer answer if you have kept your brain calm. So I don't manage to do this all day, but I do every hour. You wouldn't be able to do this in exam. Every hour, I try and move, stretch my eyes, and calm myself down. So then during the whole day, I keep my nervous system regulated. So that's exercise number 3. And the final thing you could do, which you may not be able to do in a meeting, but you could probably do in an exam, is if you are feeling nauseous, if you're feeling that the panic is holding your body, so you can't hold your pen or you can't think clearly. Again, just doing a little shake your hands, shake your feet is a really good thing to do. Stretching, I call it stretching like a cat. So it's not a cat stretch, but you know how cats, when they stretch and they put a paw up and then they just sort of leave it in the air, and then they just do what feels good and they just kind of pull their body in whatever direction. So if you're sitting in an exam and you don't care what people think, just a little stretch, just release the tension in your body is a really good thing. And then another thing that actually, if you've ever given blood, they tell you to do this because it increases your circulation, is clenching your bottom and releasing. So tightening your big muscles around your glutes and releasing them. And again, this would just get your blood circulating. And when your blood's circulating well around your body, your brain is able to think more clearly. Because what you really want when you're in some sort of stressful event is for the oxygen and the nerves to be clipped, the communication between your body and your brain to be really clear. And getting a little bit of movement, so clenching your bottom, can actually help you get more clarity in your head. So those are things to do in the exam. So you've got psychological sigh, you've got the ear massage, you've got the 20-20-20 rule, so stretching your eyes, and you've got some movement. If you were in an office and you could get up and walk around the room, you could get up and get yourself a glass of water, or excuse yourself and go to the loo, or offer to pour everyone else a coffee. Those sort of things can just break the cycle of panic and fear in your own body and gives you more time to think if you aren't under a time limit like in an exam. So those are good things to do. Now, after a stressful event, I am sure none of you would dream of just going home and slumping down on the sofa and scrolling or watching TV. I mean, I know you're way better than me, But just in case you were tempted to do that, can I ask that before you slump down and slob on the sofa, try to do something to shake off the experience that you've just been through. So laughter is a really good one, or literally shaking again, really good. Laughter's quite fun. I will demonstrate now to my own embarrassment, but you could start, if you're on your own or if you're with people who don't care or would join in, just do a fake laugh. And you might find that you start laughing, and certainly the people that you're with will start laughing, and your body then is releasing all the feel-good hormones. And if you can do it with people, it's even better. So I would say move, do some sort of exercise, go for a walk, stretch, go for a run, or play a game. So if you live in a household, play a game of cards, or not Monopoly, because that puts everyone in a bad mood. More stretching like a cat. You can just give your body an opportunity to release whatever gets trapped in it from sitting in this stressful situation. You will feel so much better. And then you have permission to slob down on the sofa. But if you're going to watch something for your long-term wellness and for good night's sleep, watch on the biggest screen in your house. So that is really some somatic solutions for a stressful event. So obviously there's the big picture, the basics, that your body is your friend, eat healthy, exercise, and keep a good sleep routine. Then before the event, do movement, just move, keep your body sort of active so that your brain can keep getting all the right info, keep alert. A really good, if you want more about this, if you watch swimmers particularly before they do a race, the Olympic swimmers, they're amazing. You watch, they do this kind of, it's called the hops, and they often do exactly that little routine. You can see them do it. So just mimic what they do. Don't panic in the event. Try the psychological sigh. Ear massage, you can do it really subtly if you're feeling anxious. You can do this. It's also really good for getting you to sleep at night. If you struggle with getting to sleep, just massage around your ear. The 20-20-20 rule, we should all be doing throughout our day anyway to keep our body regulated, particularly if you're in an office. If you have an outdoor job, or if you go for a nice long walk every day, you will naturally be stretching your eyes. So you don't need to kind of bring that in quite so much. Movement, so if you can move during the event, that's always good for you. And then afterwards, just resist slumping down on the sofa until you've released some of the stored up stuff that will have got stuck in your body from just sitting still and being in a stressful situation. I'll just say this now, and then those who need to go can go. My flagship course is called the Embodied course, where we actually look at why these things work in lots more detail, and we map how your nervous system works so that you can then work out how to find your calm space. The next one starts the middle of June. I've got a fun body and soul reset starting. It's a 10-day thing that you do at home with some somatic exercises, how to give yourself a facial massage, not by me. It's like a 10-day challenge to just feel well for the summer. And then out of the Embodied course, so many of my clients had sleep issues that I do a 3-session calm and sleep course. If you want to go on my mailing list, hop on my website, and would really value you telling others. So I am going to stop sharing that, and I'm going to stop recording. And then if you need to go, thank you for coming. And if you have questions, please do stay on. See if I can stop the recording.